Welcome everyone. Today we are talking about one of the most powerful ideas in the history of human thinking. It is called Stoicism, and it comes from ancient Greece and Rome. But do not worry, this is not a boring history lesson. This is about something that can change your life starting today. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning and check your phone. There is a message from your boss. The project you worked on for 3 weeks has been cancelled. Just like that. Gone. How do you feel? Angry? Disappointed? Maybe even a little hopeless. Now imagine a second person who gets the exact same message. But instead of feeling crushed, they take a slow breath, think for a moment, and say to themselves, "Okay. I cannot change this. What can I do next?" Which person do you think will have a better day? A better week? A better life? The main idea of Stoicism is simple. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. That is it. That one idea has helped millions of people for over 2,000 years. Stoicism, let us say that word slowly, Stoicism, is a school of philosophy. Philosophy means the love of wisdom, the study of big questions about life. Stoicism was founded in Athens around 300 BC by a man named Zeno of Citium. He began teaching his ideas in a public place called the Stoa, a painted porch or covered walkway. That is actually where the name, Stoicism, comes from. The porch philosophy. But the most famous Stoic thinker was a Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius. He lived from 121 to 180 AD. He was one of the most powerful men in the world. He commanded armies. He made laws for millions of people. And every single night, he wrote in a private journal, not for anyone else to read, just for himself, about how to be a better, calmer, wiser person. That journal survived 2,000 years, and today we call it Meditations. It is one of the most read books in the world. So what exactly did Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics believe? Let us break it down into 3 simple ideas. The first idea is called the dichotomy of control. That is a long phrase, but the meaning is beautifully simple. Dichotomy means dividing something into 2 parts. The Stoics said, divide everything in your life into 2 groups. Group 1, things you can control. Group 2, things you cannot control. Your job, and this is very important, your job is to focus only on Group 1, and let go of Group 2 completely. Think about it this way. You are scrolling through social media and you see that a friend posted a photo without tagging you. You feel left out. You feel hurt. But here is the question, can you control what your friend posted? Can you control whether other people like you? Can you control your own reaction, your own thoughts, your own actions? Yes. Always yes. The Stoics would say, put your energy there. Only there. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He wrote this as a reminder to himself. Even an emperor needed to remind himself of this every day. The second big Stoic idea is called negative visualization. This sounds strange at first. Why would you think about negative things? But stay with me, because this is actually very clever. The Stoics suggested spending a little time each day imagining that something you love is gone. Imagine your morning coffee does not exist. Imagine your comfortable bed is not there. Imagine you cannot see the people you love. Not to make yourself sad, but to make yourself grateful. When you imagine losing something, you suddenly appreciate it much more. You stop taking it for granted. Here is a modern example. Imagine you are stuck in traffic and you are very frustrated. Now try this Stoic trick. Imagine you have no car at all. Imagine you have to walk everywhere in the rain. Suddenly, sitting in your warm car with music playing does not feel so bad, does it? That small mental shift. That is negative visualization working. Marcus Aurelius practiced this constantly. He reminded himself that everything he had, his power, his health, his family, could be taken away. Not to live in fear, but to live in gratitude and to act with urgency and care. The third Stoic idea is about virtue. The Stoics believed that the only truly good thing in life is a good character. They called this virtue, and they divided it into 4 parts: wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Everything else, money, fame, beauty, power, they called preferred indifference. That means, it is okay to have these things, but they are not what makes you truly happy or truly good. This was a radical idea then. It is still radical now. We live in a world that tells us every day, buy this, look like this, achieve this, and then you will be happy. The Stoics said, no. Happiness, real, deep, lasting happiness, comes from who you are, not what you have. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. He had everything the world could offer. And yet he wrote this: very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. He chose to focus on his character, his decisions, his thoughts, not his palace or his power. Now, let us talk about emotions for a moment, because people often misunderstand Stoicism here. Many people think Stoics are cold. They think Stoics do not feel anything. That is completely wrong. Stoics feel emotions just like everyone else. They feel sadness, joy, fear, love. The difference is that they do not let emotions control their actions. They observe the emotion, they understand it, and then they choose how to respond. Think of it like this: you are not the storm. You are the person standing in the storm, deciding which direction to walk. Marcus Aurelius lost several of his children during his lifetime. He felt deep grief. He wrote about it. But he also chose not to let that grief stop him from doing his duty, from being kind to others, from continuing to grow as a person. That takes enormous strength. But here is what almost no one talks about when they discuss Stoicism. The Stoics were not trying to be perfect. They were not trying to become emotionless robots. They were trying to practice. Every single day. Like going to a gym, but for the mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote Meditations as a series of exercises, things he told himself when he was struggling, when he was tired, when people were unkind to him, when life felt unfair. He was not a perfect Stoic. He was a man trying, every day, to be a little better than yesterday. And that is exactly the point. The Stoics had a phrase for this daily practice: amor fati. It is Latin, and it means love of fate. It means, do not just accept what happens to you. Do not just tolerate it. Love it. Embrace it. See every difficulty as a chance to practice your strength, your wisdom, your character. Imagine you fail an important exam. The Stoic response is not to pretend it does not hurt. It is to say, this happened. I cannot change it. What can I learn? How can I use this to grow? That reframing, changing the way you see a situation, is one of the most powerful mental tools that exists. Modern psychology actually agrees with the Stoics. A type of therapy called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is based on very similar ideas. The idea that our thoughts create our feelings, and we can change our thoughts. Therapists around the world use these techniques every day to help people with anxiety, depression, and stress. The Stoics figured this out 2,000 years ago. Let us come back to Marcus Aurelius for a moment. He became emperor at the age of 40. He never really wanted the job. He preferred reading and writing philosophy. But he accepted it, because the Stoics believed in doing your duty, in serving others, in using whatever position you have to do good in the world. During his reign, Rome faced terrible plagues, wars, and floods. He dealt with all of it, not by panicking, not by blaming others, but by working steadily, thinking clearly, and treating people with respect. Even his enemies. Even people who betrayed him. He wrote about forgiving people almost immediately after they wronged him, because holding on to anger only hurts the person who holds it. He wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike the person who hurt you." Think about that for a moment. When someone is cruel to you, the Stoic response is not to become cruel back. It is to become kinder. That is not weakness. That is the hardest and most powerful thing a person can do. Stoicism spread far beyond ancient Rome. It influenced early Christian thinking. It influenced the Renaissance, a great period of art and learning in Europe. It influenced the American founding fathers. Benjamin Franklin wrote about Stoic ideas. Theodore Roosevelt carried a copy of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations with him everywhere he went. Today, Stoicism is having a huge revival. Business leaders, athletes, soldiers, and artists all study Stoic philosophy. Books like The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday have sold millions of copies. Why? Because the problems Stoicism addresses, anxiety, loss of control, fear of failure, dealing with difficult people, these problems have not changed in 2,000 years. Human beings still face the same struggles. And the Stoic tools still work. So what does this mean for you? Right now. Today. In your life. Maybe you are worried about something you cannot change. A relationship. A job. Your health. Something in the news. The Stoic question to ask yourself is this in my control? If the answer is no, and often it is no, then your energy spent worrying about it is wasted energy. Not because the problem is not real, but because worrying does not solve it. Action does. Or acceptance does. But worry does nothing. Maybe someone said something unkind to you recently. You are still thinking about it. You are replaying it in your mind. The Stoics would say, that person's words are outside your control. Your response to those words, that is yours. You can choose to let those words define your day, or you can choose to set them down and walk forward. This is not easy. The Stoics never said it was easy. Marcus Aurelius himself had to write the same reminders to himself again and again in his journal, because he kept forgetting. He kept slipping back into old habits of frustration and worry. That is what the journal was for, to practice, to return, to begin again. Now, here is a practical way to apply Stoic thinking starting today. It is called the evening review, and Marcus Aurelius himself used something very similar. Before you go to sleep tonight, take 5 minutes. No phone. No music. Just quiet. Ask yourself 3 questions. First, what happened today that was outside my control, and did I waste energy on it? Second, what was inside my control today, and did I use that power well? Third, what is one thing I can do tomorrow to act more like the person I want to be? That is it. 5 minutes. 3 questions. Do this every evening for 1 week, and notice what changes. You may be surprised. Not because the world changes, it will not. But because you begin to see the world differently. And that, according to Marcus Aurelius and every Stoic thinker who came after him, is where all real change begins. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control other people. You cannot control the past or the future. But right now, in this moment, you can control one thing, the quality of your own thinking. And if you can do that, even a little better each day, then you have already begun to master the art of Stoic thinking.